When you start out designing the authorization model for your SaaS application, the best place to start is simply look at what are the resources inside of the system. Is this a system where users are interacting with transactions? Is it accounts? Is it purchase orders? These are the concrete objects which very much will be reflected down in your application database that users interact with. Then for each of those objects, start thinking through what are the actions users can do about it. And don't necessarily get hung up with create, read, update, delete. Really think about the end user value or the end user action that's being performed. So is this user commenting? Is this flagging? Are they downloading? Are they viewing? Are they exporting? These are actual actions users are doing inside of the application. Then for each of those actions, sit down and work through what are the different user roles that users are going to have. So within your system, within a client account, you're going to might have some admins, you might have some managers, you might have some members, you might have some viewers. So create that grid of resource and action, and then all the different roles, and start filling it in. And don't necessarily begin with just the product specs from a product team. Go and look at what your sales team might need, what the support team might need, what your security team might need. And you actually find these other bits of context and other bits of information will actually refine that positioning and refine those access models in that kind of matrix view. Then at that point, the bulk of the work is actually kind of done. Now it's just a matter of converting that into policy. And when you're looking at implementing your logic, you can go with a very basic role-based access control model where you simply allow access based on a role. But typically in a SaaS application, you want to make sure users are within their own tenant or within their own account. So now you need to start inspecting attributes. So you want to make sure that a user belonging to an account is only editing resources that are also in that account. So this is where you start doing attribute-based control checks, or ABAC, where you're actually interrogating individual attributes of the thing and the user trying to interact with that thing inside of the system. With all that defined, it goes into policy. Make sure that policy is version controlled. Use something like Cerbos as a policy decision point that can ingest those version control policies, and then inside your application code, it's simply a calling out, can this user do this action on this resource? The policy is evaluated, you get your answer. You also get an audit log of all those decisions and all those actions, which is super important to actually expose not only to your internal teams and your security teams, but also even to end users inside of your application.